Salamat sore, everyone. How is everybody doing today? And I would love to know where you are all dialing in from. Maybe your name and tell me which city you are dialing in from. Fantastic. We have people from Jakarta, from Bandung. Awesome. Somebody else from Bandung, Bekasi. Amazing. Keep the chat live and tell me where you are dialing in from, and I will come back and read all of this information again. But let's get started. And my name is Aishwarya Balakrishnan. You can call me IB or Ash, and I lead the community building for Crowdsource by Google in Southeast Asia, East Asia, Europe, as well as Middle East. And I'm based out of Bangalore. I've been in Google as a program manager for a little more than a year now, and been part of Crowdsource for the same time. And before we get started, first of all, I'm so excited to be here and to meet you all virtually. And congratulations to all of you for reaching this current stage in the highly selective Bangkit program. I personally love Indonesia. I've been there multiple times to Jogja, Bali, Lombok, and I've had such an amazing experience. Everybody has always been warm and welcoming in Indonesia. And I'm sincerely looking forward to coming back to Indonesia, after this whole pandemic situation gets better. So thank you once again for taking time and joining us in this session to learn more about crowdsourcing for diversity in AI systems. And so I'm going to start by stating the obvious today, right? So I'm going to say we are diverse. And when I say we are diverse here, all of you have dialed in from different cities in Indonesia. And there are so many different dimensions other than just cities, right? When we talk about diversity, we come from different backgrounds, we come from different countries, from different professions, languages, social roles, and there are countless ways in which we can measure all of this, right? Even our income, our physical and mental ability, our race, our color, our ethnicity, and the list can just go on, right? And at the meeting of all of this is a beautiful intersection of diversity, which not just makes this group right now so diverse, but the world so diverse. But let's be honest, right? Is this diversity truly represented today in technology or information that is available in the internet today? Is there equal representation of everyone everywhere in the world today? I don't think so, right? And we live in a complex, interconnected world today where diversity forms the fabric of modern society. And this is shaped by globalization and technological advances. Both of these factors are responsible, for making me able to dial in today and talk to you all virtually, sitting here from India. And as the world is diverse, so are users of Google products today, right? And when we talk about diversity, and when we talk about diversity in artificial intelligence, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how you all can be a part of this whole process within Google. And speaking of diversity in AI, right? Let's first take a look at what is Google's mission. So Google's mission, right from when we started, right, is to organize the world's information and to make it universally accessible and useful. And all of the different Google products, services, and initiatives that you use today are all working towards this mission in their own way, right? And today, when we speak of this mission of Google, artificial intelligence and machine learning play an important role in helping Google to achieve this mission, right? By improving our products and the way users interact with our products. And Crowdsource is doing the same, right? We are also working towards this mission. And what we do is we combine the power of artificial intelligence with community. Now, many of you may have used Google products, and I would love to hear on chat what your favorite Google product is. Let me know on chat. But many of you might have used Google products like Search, Translate, Assistant, Photos, Maps. These are all products that are powered by AI, right? And AI helps you today in many different ways. When you're trying to type an email on Gmail, it uses predictive, typing to suggest the next sentence. Or when you're watching your favorite video on YouTube, right? YouTube is able to suggest the next recommendations for you based on the videos that you like, and the next thing you know, you're on YouTube watching it straight for 3 hours in the night, right? All of this is powered by AI, and today it makes it easier for people to search for photos of family or friends, to translate things live, and to even use a product like Google Assistant to enable you to make your daily tasks easy. So all of these things that AI can do, right? How can AI do this? AI learns these skills by studying vast number of examples. And ideally, we want all of these examples that AI trains on to be diverse in nature, right? So that we are equally representing everyone everywhere. And mainly because anything that artificial intelligence can do today is powered by data that it trains on and the data that goes into it. And what can we do, right, as end users to contribute and enable this process? Mainly because AI is only as good as the data behind it. And for AI to have the greatest impact for everyone who can access the internet today, and for products which are built with everybody's benefit in mind, that's where our community helps. And together we help AI serve everyone everywhere in the world today. And now we're going to use the chat, and we're going to, sort of go through a few examples for us to understand the impact of AI today. And today, when you use a product like Google Photos, now, quick poll, how many of you have used Google Photos? Yes, Fajar, Google Lens is absolutely one of my favorites too. Has anyone used Google Photos before is my question. Feel free to write yes or no on the chat. But when you use Google Photos, right, there's a feature on top which allows you to search for images. And now when you use the product and you search for the picture of a bride, now this is a picture of a bride that Photos can very confidently recognize, right? The picture of a bride in a white dress with a veil on the screen. But then what about, this bride? What about this bride on the screen who's from the Java region in Indonesia, right? How confident will the AI models powering Google Photos, be in recognizing images of brides from Ghana or Peru, right? So will Photos be able to recognize the nuances? Will be able to recognize the brides from different parts of the world? I don't think so. And the other interactive poll that we're going to have right now, right? I'm going to give you all 20 seconds, and I want to tell me what is the image on the left. What do you think is the image on the left? If you can tell me what is the name of the dish that you're seeing on the left, let me know on chat. I'm going to give you all 10 seconds. Think about what is the image on the left. Okay, Brilliant says Gado too. Anybody else who wants to take a guess? Somebody says Gado Gado. Lots of Gado Gados on the chat, and someone else says salad. Now let's see if you can get the image on the right. What do you think the image is on the right? Okay, Eggy says left is Gado Gado, right is salad. Amazing, we have a lot of salad. Salad with peanut sauce, very specific, Mohammed. Right is salad. Amazing. Let's see what the answers are. I think many of you got the answers right. On your left, it's gado gado from Indonesia. Personally, one of my favorites. I'm vegetarian. And on the right is a chicken salad from the United States. Many of you got that very closely. You said it's a salad. And let's jump to the next example. Let's see how many of you can guess this. What's the image on your left? Rema, the image right now is not a chicken salad. Okay, we have a nasi kampur, a mogus. I don't know what that is, but I want to taste it. Nasi uduk, nasi kampur on the left, Tawfiq. Mohammed is, I love your answers, Mohammed. You're so specific. Mohammed says on the left is nasi lemak and on the right is nasi padang. Um, and Anisa is still talking about gado gado. I feel you. Awesome. Let's see what the answers are. So on your left is nasi Bali from Indonesia. And on your left is nasi lemak redang in Malaysia. Now let's go to the next one and see how many of you get this one right. What is the image on your left? Yes, Twiki, I am hungry too. But I promise this is the last food slide. Let's see how many of you get this right. What's the image on the left and what's the image on the right? Tell me on the chat. Lumpia, Muhammad, tell me which one, left side or the right side? Egg roll, semarang, lumpia, risol, lumpia, lumpia. I'm guessing many of you are talking about the image on the left, and somebody says a tortilla. Vincentius Indra says lumpia left and spring rolls on the right. Amazing. So we have a lot of answers. Let us see what is the right answer. On your left, it's lumpia goreng in Indonesia. And on your right is popia pasa from Singapore. Now, why did we do this exercise, right? Why did we try and guess the images in the last three pictures? Many of you might have realized that it was particularly difficult, especially with nasi Bali, to guess the right answer. And many of you got lumpia right. Many of you got gado gado right. You got your local dishes right? You got your local cuisine exactly right. And maybe the images on the right were sometimes difficult, like this one, popia basa, which none of you got on the chat. Imagine how AI models are struggling to recognize these images, right? If we as humans are taking some time to recognize cuisines from other countries and it looks very similar to what we have in our own local countries, imagine how it looks in pixels to AI models, right? And this is one of the examples of why we need diverse data sets, so that we're able to train AI models to recognize these local delicacies or local cultural objects, right? With that, I'm going to share with you three stories. And so just sit back, relax, and listen to these stories. So first up is a story of Putri. Now, Putri is from Indonesia, like many of you. And Putri loves food. Who doesn't, right? And loves clicking pictures of local culture and cuisine. Now, when Putri uses Google Photos, right, there's the search feature which allows her to search for pictures, her favorite pictures. Now, what she notices is when she uses that search feature and she looks for photos of a pancake or a burger or a French fries, Google Photos will be very confident at recognizing these local, American food. Whereas when it comes to her local delicacies from her region, right, she loves nasi padang or a satay or a lumpia. And she finds that photos struggles to understand and pull up all the photos of nasi padang from her Google Photos, right? And there's so much of diversity in food. Just in Indonesia, depending on which city you are from, depending on which region you are from, there is so much of diversity in your food, right? Now, how do we represent all of that on technology? The second example is that of Nina. Now, Nina is from South Africa. She speaks English. She loves to travel. And she is visiting Russia for the very first time, right? And she knows only English. She doesn't know Russian. How is she going to figure things out? So one thing she can do is she can flip her phone, open Google Lens, which I read on chat is, a favorite of many of you. It's my personal favorite too. And what she can do with Google Lens is point at an image right? And get live translations and even get the text read out to her in English. Now she can use this feature to help her translate signboards, menu cards in restaurants, so that she always knows where she's going and what she's doing in a different country, right? It looks like a very simple task. She's just flipping her phone, scanning the image, translating, getting it read out. But then there are a lot of AI models that power this experience for her so that the machine is able to understand the context of what is happening and is then able to fulfill the task. There are a bunch of different AI models like mobile vision models, optical character recognition models, translation models, text to speech models that power this magical experience for Nina, helping her to break language barriers, right? And this technology can even enable accessibility and can help users with low literacy to understand what is written in text, and all of these things that today Google Lens can do, right? Of course, we understand Russian, but what about the different languages in the world? If Nina is today backpacking around the world, will she get this experience no matter where she goes, right? Again, I don't think so. The last example that I'm going to leave you with is the example of Budi. Now, Budi is from a small town in Indonesia. Budi is a tailor, and Budi, speaks his native language, Bahasa Indonesia, but does not understand, English, does not read or write in English, or does not even read or write in Bahasa Indonesia, right? He's a tailor in a small town, and he is always on the lookout to improve his knowledge and his learning. He wants to learn about the different types of fabric in the world. What are the style patterns that are trending, right? What sewing machine to buy, or how do I fix my broken sewing machine? So that he's then able to use all of this knowledge to make sure he's designing amazing clothes for his customers. Now, Google Assistant ideally should not have a problem with helping him, right? So even if he doesn't know English, ideally, Assistant should be able to help him in Bahasa Indonesia. But the experience that Budi today gets on Bahasa Indonesia in Google Assistant is perhaps not as perfect as the experience a user may get in English, right? And when it comes to languages, and when it comes to languages in Indonesia, right, there are 700 active languages in Indonesia. Can you all guess how many languages Google Assistant knows, or how many languages Google Translate knows? Does anybody want to guess? Let's start with Translate. Maybe how many languages do you think Google Translate knows? Fikri, I don't know what WK means. Anybody wants to guess how many languages Google Translate knows from Indonesia? Rinaldi says 5. Anybody else who wants to guess? More than 100? Homi says 100. Fashali says 5. Dhana says 7, 10, 20. Okay, I'm going to give you the answer, and Brilliant got it right. It's 3. Bahasa Indonesia, Javanese, and Sundanese, right? And think about all these other languages that are still not represented, or we are still learning about those languages. How do we deliver magical experiences to users like Budi? How do we break literacy barriers? How do we deliver information, so that information is available equally well to everyone, everywhere in the world, right? How do we enable this diversity and inclusiveness across Google products? So let's jump to the next section, right? So this is how the community helps. So the community, helps to represent their language and their culture through Crowdsource. And by the way, before I jump into this, all of these 3 examples that I shared of Bodhi, of Nina, right, and of Putri, all of these 3 examples are real examples from our community as to why these members contribute to Crowdsource, what are they passionate about, how does Google products help them, in their day-to-day life, and how in turn they want to give back to Google products to make it become better and more relevant for their local communities. So I hope you found these 3 stories really inspiring. So jumping to what is Crowdsource, right? So Crowdsource is a gamified app that enables anybody to take part in the whole machine learning process at Google, right? It enables anyone, anywhere to contribute and train Google AI systems directly through a gamified platform where you can answer simple questions, things like, is there a cat in this image or not, right? So labeling images, translating text, or you can even help Gboard become better by understanding swiping, right? So there are a bunch of different simple fun activities that you can take part in, and you can also meet contributors from around the world, and you're able to bring your local insight and local knowledge of your country and language and have a direct impact on the AI systems. And as a member of the global community of contributors, you're in turn able to create AI that best serves the rich and varied diversities of this planet, right? So that's what is Crowdsource. So if you have not checked it out, do check it out. I'll share a link with you all later as well. And right now, the impact, I'll just talk a little bit about the impact we've had on Crowdsource so far, right? You're not just impacting Google products. I'll talk a little bit about open source, and I'll also share maybe a link later in an email. But the first thing that our community has helped to impact is handwriting recognition in Gboard product has improved by at least 35% in 18 Latin script languages, all thanks to our community of users. And like I mentioned, you're not just helping Google products, but there's a feature called image capture and smart camera on our app, on our Android app. And anybody who chooses to donate images to the open source can do so while they're donating images to those two activities. So far, we've donated about 500,000 images, and those images represent users from around the world and shows local food, local apparel, flora and fauna, and landmarks, and many more things. And over 34 million answers to image label verification have been released as an open source data set. And at the same time, all of the contributions help us to better improve image recognition across a bunch of different Google products like photos or lens or shopping or maps and image search. And you're not just doing all of this, but you're also helping enable accessibility, right? So there's a task on our web app. Head to crowdsource.google.com if you're on your desktop. Basically, there's a task called image caption, where there are certain images and there's a caption, and you're asked whether this is the right caption for that image. And this helps us generate data to enable blind users to understand what is there in an image. They can't see images, right? So the text helps them understand it. So this enables accessibility in the Chrome browser. And our community has also helped to add landmarks. So we previously had an activity called landmarks. It's currently available in Japan, but it helped enable smarter navigation, especially in markets like Indonesia or India, to help bike coverage better, right? Two-wheeler coverage better in these cities. And overall, the answers to translation or translation validation, or even contributing on the web, to Google Translate, helps to improve Google Translate's experience for users around the world. So this is basically a sneak peek of the impact that our community has had so far. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the Crowdsource Influencer Program, right? So with the Crowdsource Influencer Program, I shared a little bit about what is Crowdsource and how does any user take part in it. But our influencers are actually the backbone of the Crowdsource community, because they help build local communities in their own regions or in their own universities or in their own cities. And they basically engage with like-minded people in their communities through regular events, and they help us to build awareness about Crowdsource. And in turn, they're helping make Google products become better for their community. And they're usually strong believers in the mission of Crowdsource. They're passionate about diversity and inclusiveness in machine learning, and they use their strong influence to rally local communities together, right? So in turn, they're able to help us understand those hyperlocal nuances through contributions to the product. And they are very, very motivated to represent their language, like I said, their dialect or their city or their heritage and other cultural nuances on Crowdsource. And we have an influencer led community in at least 50 countries around the world. So we have influencers across the world, I can say that. And our app is also available globally. And these are some things that motivate our influencers to contribute to Crowdsource. These are some of the reasons, I will say, why people contribute and help us build local communities as influencers. Influencers are usually motivated because they're able to make a direct impact on Google artificial intelligence, and they find this as an amazing opportunity to network and connect with people from around the world. And personally, this is one of the highlights for me in my role as a community manager. And some of our influencers have also shared that Crowdsource has helped them elevate and build their own personal brand, and even help them build their own communication skills through the events that they put together and the mentorship that they get from the Google team. They've talked to us about how their communication skills, their presentation skills, their leadership skills have remarkably changed. And every month we have a learning session with Googlers. So we cover a bunch of different topics through a series of sessions every month called On Air with Crowdsource. And in fact, last month we had a session on career development. And before that, we've had the product manager from the arts and culture team come and talk to the community about how they use machine learning to preserve arts and culture around the world. We've even had an engineering manager come and talk to the community about the day-to-day life of a software engineer. So we cover different topics on soft skills as well as product-related topics every month. And the community has a chance to directly interact with the Googler and learn from the Googler and ask Q&As as well. Many of which I do believe that Bankit also provided you an opportunity or a platform to sort of interact with Googlers and learn on an ongoing basis. We also have a global summit that we do wish to organize once the COVID situation is resolved. And the summit is basically, we invite the top engaged influencers. It's a free trip to them to engage and meet other influencers from around the world and also meet the Google team. So depending on the impact they've had in growing the community, we would invite the top engaged influencers. And our engaged influencers also get a chance to mentor new influencers, right? They get to sharpen their leadership and mentorship skills. And we do feature our influencers quite frequently on our Facebook pages or our newsletters or our website. And hopefully, once the COVID-19 situation is resolved, we're able to host them in our local offices. And our influencers also, top engaged influencers again, get access to the Trusted Testers program, where they get a version of Crowdsource before it's launched to the public and can give the engineering and product team direct feedback. And lastly, like I said, it's my favorite piece. It's an opportunity to stay connected with a global community. And, basically you get to learn a lot about other countries and their culture. And I'm so excited to actually have two influencers who have actually joined me on the call today. I'm going to have a fireside chat with them so that you're actually hearing firsthand from influencers, from Indonesia, on what is their experience with Crowdsource been so far, and why do they even volunteer and help grow the community. I'm super excited to have today Desti and Ratri with me on the call. Unfortunately, Budi and Mikhail couldn't join us on the session today, but I would love to give a brief, introduction to Budi and Mikhail as well anyway, because I personally find their stories very inspiring. Now, first up is the story of Budi. Budi, we also call him the master mentor. He's very proud of the multiple languages that are there in Indonesia. Many of you talked about how Buginese language is not yet there, and some of you talked about your native languages too. He's very passionate about the multiple languages as well and the diversity that is there in Indonesia. And his motivation, he was the first influencer in Indonesia. His motivation to build this community is so that he wants the Indonesian flag to be on the top of the leaderboard, and also to make sure that there's good representation of the diversity that is there in Indonesia across the Google products that he very passionately uses in his day-to-day life. Right. So he used to even talk about crowdsource during his commute. He used to travel 2 hours from work to Jakarta to teach as well as work. And that's his story. And I want to talk about Mikhail before I introduce Desti and Ratri. So Mikhail is actually a past graduate of the Bankit program. He was part of the Bankit program last year. And he heard about crowdsource the same way you're all hearing about crowdsource right now. And he joined our community back then, and he also applied to be Explore ML with Crowdsource facilitator. Explore ML with Crowdsource is a program where we offer the basics of machine learning as a training to our community members, and members who attend the training, will get a certificate of participation from Google. And there are facilitators who are trained, by Google engineers and domain experts to facilitate and run these workshops around the world. And Mikhail is one of the hundreds who got selected for this program and is an Explore ML facilitator. And Mikhail's motivation to influence and conduct these workshops is because he believes everybody's views should be represented on the internet, right? Whether they know to code or not. Crowdsource is a platform that enables users who even do not know the basics of coding to contribute to the machine learning process. And through his talks, he wants to represent, his country on the Google products. And with that, let me introduce you to Desti as well as Ratri. Desti, here on our call, she wants to preserve the Indonesian languages, right, through Crowdsource again. And she's passionate about events. She's an events planner herself, and Crowdsource enables her to do that. And she loves to organize cultural events for Crowdsource to represent the diversity of culture, not just in Indonesia, but Desti has done a couple of international events as well. And next up is Ratri. Ratri is an early education teacher, is a mother of 3 kids. She has helped Crowdsource. She volunteers on Crowdsource because she wants to represent Javanese and Sundanese as traditional languages to the world. And the community has taught her many new things. We learn a little bit about that. Let's actually quickly kickstart with Ratri. Ratri, welcome to the talk today, and super excited to have you here today, Ratri. I would love to hear your journey as an influencer, or how did you even get to know about Crowdsource? You've been in Crowdsource longer than me, I think. So would love to hear, things about how you got to know about Crowdsource, why do you influence right from the start? Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ivy. That's a very impressive intro, right? So, yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ratri. I'm live in Tangerang, Indonesia, and I'm early education teacher. As Ivy mentioned previously, I'm mother of 3 young kids, and I'm remarkable facilitator, taking master degree in education now, and eagerly learning new things from different backgrounds. And as Ivy mentioned before, how do I know crowdsource? So before that, so Ivy, it's been an honor for me to being part of this Bankit Academy for the sharing session, and I will be telling everyone that I was a local guide by then in 2019, and my community invited Mr. Budi by that time to Tangerang, so where I live. And he introduced me to crowdsource, and I found it interesting as it is a fun game. And I have no certain ideas that the team really counts my contribution until I received the invitation for the Hangouts when I was on level 10. And they even recognized my achievement when I was on level 13. They put me on their official Facebook account for the crowdsource, Google crowdsource, as being a top contributor by that time last year. And I was also curious about the influencers program. Why? Because I want to teach AI, even though I don't have any technical background. My background is a teacher, I'm an educator. But then after I joined Crowdsource, days after days, year, now becoming my second years. And I really love and enjoy the community because we are gathered here more like a family, and we're supporting each other, and we contribute together to make it uh, Indonesia even well known for the world and make it even better. So I guess that's how I know Crowdsource IB. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Ratri. And what are your personal learnings, if any? And have you had any professional learnings as well, being an influencer? How's your journey been so far?
Thank you so much for asking that, Ivy. Yes, Crowdsource team really gave me lots of opportunities for me. Last year, I couldn't even talk to the big audience like this, but today, look where am I? Like I'm on Bangkit as one of the speaker, and that's really because of Crowdsource. Crowdsource really support me for my career development, for my individual development, so my for my personal branding, and the learning experiences from diversity or on air session. It is the show that our or the session that conducted by the crowdsource every month for the influencers, and it included so many background, not just artificial intelligence or machine learning, or we have a sharing session with the Googler, and then we have the mindfulness session, and but that too that inspires me are the I'm remarkable session. That's why I became one of the facilitator, which I can actually pointed out my strength, even though I felt like it was just a simple thing, but then I acknowledged that that is actually a strength. So the other one that really inspires me is the understanding of OCR, or optical character recognition, by Jake Walker, the product manager at Google. So it lead us to Indonesia, and by that time we are contributing together, and we have the handwriting campaign at the moment, recognizing that through crowdsource we give impact, really give impact to Google Maps and Google Translate. That means my contribution, your contribution, so all the contributors in the crowdsource, our contribution is real and it matters to Google products. And so after that IB, I learned that as an influencer, I learned a lot how to communicate with others and how to appreciate others' achievements and make that as an inspiration rather than a trait. So this thing also unique. So we had the campaign called the 30 Days of Crowdsource, where we contribute together in 30 days. We're joining from Southeast Asia and East Asia, being divided to four groups. And I was the captain for the leader. I'm the captain for team, a red team by that time. So through this activity, I taught how to lead without authority, means I'm leading through influencing and teamwork. So how we achieve together, how we can really contribute together, and how to make it as how that I can be model them without even like telling them what to do or dictate them what to do. And I think that I think so many things, right? I'm just yeah, I'm just blurbing, like telling everything because there's so many things. Even though if you're giving me a week to tell me how crowdsource means a lot to me and then how they give so many things for me, for my personal life, that won't be enough.
Thank you so much, Ratri, for your enthusiasm and for sharing your candid views on what have you learned through the community and the influencer program. Really appreciate it. And
My
let's
pleasure.
move. Thank you. And let's move to Desti. Hi, Desti.
Hi, thank you, Ivy.
Hi, Desti. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey with Crowdsource as an influencer or a contributor, and and would love to hear again your personal learnings as well. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ivy, for introducing me. Hi, everyone. I'm Desti. I live in Bogor, but now I'm working in South Jakarta. My personal background, I currently work as business development in developer company. I studied economic management, and even though my title at work is in business development, in my day-to-day job, I juggle multiple roles like being a beta tester and technical writer for the apps that I handle. So I am non-technical person doing work in a technical field now. And I'm also a trainer for Unbreakable too, other than being a proud CrossFit influencer. That's about me. Yeah.
Thank you, Destiny.
And yeah,
Go ahead.
and yeah, and actually, this is my second time to be in Bucket. I really feel so happy because IB invite me again in here and give a chance to speak in this event again with all of you guys. And uh, I will share about how the influencer program helped me in my personal and professional growth. Like being process influencer, I was able to carve my identity as somebody passionate about technology, machine learning, public speaking, community building, and diversity and inclusion. Because I'm a finance major by training, and I was able to make a move to the IT sector, especially in product development, because of my interest in technology and my volunteering as a cross-sub influencer. Like being a cross-source influencer helped me differentiate myself from competitors in the job markets. Actually, I get my job now because of Google Crowdsource. When companies get to know that I was one of the influencer invited to the annual summit, I had three jobs offer at hand. He said that I'm also a founder and event management company, just a small business, and now being cross-sort influencer has added credibility to my profile and helped me flourish in my work too. And my communication and leadership I have personally rewarding experience and have firsthand seen my communication and leadership skill, and even my Google Slides and the document skill is getting better now. Improve from the beginning until the day to the mentorship from the team and from other communities members too. I learned to hold leadership to crowdsource event. I was a captain too, like Baratri during crowdsource today's challenge. I also honed skill by organizing creative and collaborative event across Indonesia and the rest of the region. For example, I organized a virtual tour where I had to lead more than 30 committees from 30 cities to be able to organize each session well. I also suffer my English speaking skill because I never spoke much in English before, but due to crosswords, I interact with people from many countries and start speaking better every day in English. Hope so. My learning, I learned so much from crosswords. To crosswords, I learned from Googlers on various topics. I particularly remember on on air with crossword session. There's a part how to manage your stress. In that session, I learned how to identify that I was stressed with my busy life, and I learned how to deal with it. That's why I love crosses so much because so many skills, so many learning, so many. I get so many from the CrossFit community. That's why I really love it. This community. Yeah, IB.
Thank you so much, Desti. I think Joseph on the chat also says so many things that both of you have talked about. Thank you so much again for sharing your first-hand experience, how it helped you along the way. I think that you've been in the community longer than me as well. And it's amazing to have also personally witnessed your both of your growth, in the last year to see how you went from, not I remember Ratri was, a little nervous before her first event when she began her journey exactly on 6th of June. Is that right, Ratri? And it's nearly a year now, and I've seen how you have grown from that day till today. It's been a rewarding experience for me as well to witness that change in your personal growth. Thank you for sharing your stories and very candid stories, I must say. And any other message that you have for our crowd, so for our Bankit participants today that you want to share? Do you have any message for the Bankit participants?
Yeah, I have one message, IB. Okay, I will tell you because you are still in college, right? Because when you just graduate from college and are about to start looking for a job, the biggest challenge is when you're not having any previous work experience. By following the community, you will expand your network because so many amazing people have joined this community, and you will get the opportunity to learn some knowledge and skill, which will support you to get the job you want if you join with us in this community. That's from me, Ivy.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
Ratri, anything from you?
Yes, of course. So thank you so much for having me before. But then I will like to ask you to join with Crowdsource to keep inspire people without tech background, just like I do, and represent Indonesia through Google products. And I'm looking forward for all participants of Bangkit Academy to join us and make difference. I mean, for our country, as I want to quote from Denzel Washington that say that at the end of the day, it is not about what you have or even what you have accomplished. It's about what you've done with those accomplishments. So it's about who you lived up, who you've made better. It's about what you've given back. So thus, my way of giving back is through my contribution, and I can see how that makes a great impact. Now, I read from the chat previously, we have three languages, traditional languages recognized by Google, thanks to our contributors from the crowdsource. And today, if I can do it, I'm not a tech background person, but now for all Bangkit Academy participant, please be part of us. And if I can do it, you can do it even better. I think that's my message, Ivy. Yes. So does
Thank you
that
so much,
summarize everything?
Ratri.
Yeah.
You yourself have helped 18 influencers, I think, to become.
Yes, and I'm happy to help. I'm
Yeah,
happy to
you've
support. I know how
mentored
hard it is.
18 influencers in the last year, from what I remember. And Desti, I think even you have mentored close to that number. Yeah, both of you have done that mentorship. You've really gotten into that role and helped mentor many new and thank you for your enthusiasm and for volunteering as well as sharing your stories today on this stage today. It was amazing to have you both join us. And thank you to all of you who dialed in and listened to the crowdsourced stories. And if you are interested in joining Desti, in joining Ratri, and our amazing crowdsource community members, I can see a couple of them have even joined this chat. Tun, Saidul, if you want to join all of these amazing folks and become an influencer yourself, we've extended this invitation to all the Bankit participants. I will also send you the form on email, and would love to hear from you all and help you get started in your journey as well. We have just a few more minutes, so I would love to take any questions from any of you. You can ask your questions to me if there is anything that is not clear for you, maybe about the influencer program. If you want to know more about crowdsource, we're happy to take those questions. So I'll just give it a couple of seconds, and I hope you all enjoyed this presentation. Thank you. The questions on the chat. Thank you for that question, Febria. You need to be 18 years old at least. That is the main requirement. Having prior community building experience, is helpful, and your enthusiasm for Google products obviously will help. If you have a little bit of understanding of machine learning, you don't have to be practicing machine learning engineering backgrounds. So basic understanding of machine learning will be helpful. So these are things that we look for. And Joseph, to answer your question, it's not a job. So influencers usually volunteer to help build the communities. So it's not a job. So it's absolutely flexible. You can do the volunteering or influencing as and when your time permits. There have been times when even Ratri was held up with school and exams, and was away in the month of December or in the month of January. So it's as flexible as it can be. So it's up to you to carve your journey on how you want to define your journey as an influencer. I'm here to mentor you. So all the influencers get to book like a mentorship slot with me at any point and have a one-on-one conversation as well. And Alif Firo, I hope I've not pronounced your name wrong. This program is not defined in terms of the timelines. So unlike a DSC, you can be an influencer for as long as you choose to be. So you can be as active as you want to be. So that it's absolutely up to you. Thank you for those amazing questions. Any other questions that we can help? Or any questions for Ratri or Desti? No worries, Joseph.
So IB, I think what really matters for this for us, for Indonesian people to really contribute in the Google crowdsource, maybe like this the yeah how it will be impacted by the Bangkit participant.
Sorry, can you reframe your question, Ratri?
So what is the
Can you repeat
benefit?
your
I think
question?
yeah, I think from the question itself, because
Okay.
I can see that they want to see what is the benefit, what are the benefits for them if they were joining crowdsource.
Yeah, so I
Yes, I
think
can
we
tell you.
covered that. Um, yeah, go ahead, Ratri.
So I think the
You want to
one that
answer it?
no, no, you will. No, you will. But then I want to quote a comment from Auro Daniel. Uh, okay, previously the Google Lens. He mentioned that Google Lens doesn't understand most of common pictures, especially for some tourist area in Indonesia. So that will be a benefit, right, Ivy?
Oh, okay. Thanks, Ratri. You were breaking up a
I'm
little bit. I think my internet was a little choppy. So yes, the benefit is, in representing all of these hidden spots, or in representing, your culture, your heritage across those Google products, so that we become better at recognizing all of this. And other than that, there's an open source benefit as well. So if you decide to donate your images, one of the biggest challenges in the machine learning community is the availability of diverse data sets. So if you wish to contribute to help impact the larger machine learning community, the developer community, you can also choose to open source your images so that you're not just impacting Google products, but you're able to impact, the developer community as a whole. And other than that, there are different levels on Crowdsource. There are 18 levels on Crowdsource. So at level 10, you get to meet me as well as the other top contributors in your region. So really meeting the Google team. And at level 13, like Ratri said, you get featured on our Facebook page. Saidul, maybe you can drop the link to our Facebook page on the chat. And on level 15, you get a certificate of appreciation. So we acknowledge your contributions and recognize you as a top contributor at level 15 and send you a certificate of appreciation. So these are different, sort of perks in the app, community perks, I would say, in the app. And as influencers, the learning opportunities are the biggest draw, for our influencers. Our influencers love to learn, and Joseph, you can get level 1 in as few as 7 days. Ratri, what is the fastest record for level 10 in our community? Or Desti, do you know?
I think 2 days, IB.
The question we have is, can we get level 10 in a year?
2 days. 2 days.
Level 10, a week, just 1 week you can reach level 10, I think. Because somebody in
Yeah.
Jackbox, he is in level 8, and about 1 hour he get level 12. So yeah, so fast.
Wow.
Yeah, level 10
Amazing.
is,
So
yeah,
it's
level
not
10
that hard
is
to get to. Yeah, level 10 as a contributor is easy.
easy.
And as an influencer, the benefits, I would say, is really exercising your soft skills. So you've all attended multiple workshops in Bankit, right? Which is practice, practice, practice. That's what makes your soft skills sharp, and it really hones your skills, right? So Crowdsource is a platform for you to exercise that skill. So you put together events, you lead your own events, and you plan the events in whatever way you wish. And the Google team is here to support you with the necessary resources or mentorship, right? So these are opportunities that you could leverage as an influencer to hone your communication skills or again leadership skills, right? So those are things to look forward to in the influencer program. And Rinaldi, I think you had a question on what kind of communities that you can join. We have Indonesia, a broader group for the entire Indonesia that you can join. There's a WhatsApp group. And other than that, we invite you to build your own community. If you're interested in photography, right, build a community of users who are interested in photography. You'll contribute photos of everyday objects, right? A teacup looks so different in Indonesia, right? And a teacup that we use to drink tea looks so different in the south of India, where I'm from, in the north of India, in China, right? Even everyday objects, you're able to sort of take pictures of, label, and let us know what they are, right? So that's how you're able to sort of make an impact. And yes, like Saidul says on chat, it's super easy. So I think we've nearly run out of time. So I could take one last question. A pleasure to talk to all of you, and I'm so excited to see all of you here. And I hope to see you all in the level 10 call. Maybe we'll all meet again. Maybe in a week. You'll all reach the top call. Yes, you can even contribute everyday objects, Joseph. You don't have to travel so much, especially during COVID 19, right? You can do what you can at home. It's a nice way. In fact, we organized 30 days of Crowdsource because our influencers wanted to bond together as a community and sort of kill boredom during the lockdown days, early last year. So they got together and contributed. And Saidul says, being a lazy person, it took only 10 days to get to level 10 for him. That's Saidul's goal. I know that. But yeah, it's as simple as contributing, everyday objects that, especially if you use smart camera on the Android phone, you'll see that it does not recognize everyday objects, every time. So you'll see some funny examples as well. send us those pictures. We would love to have a laugh as well. But it's up to you to train AI even on everyday objects. So you can build communities based on what you're interested in. Awesome. Thank you so much for dialing in. And thank you so much, Febria, for organizing everything on behalf of Bunkit. And I hope you all have a fantastic evening. And it's Friday. I'm looking forward to this evening. Thank God it's Friday. And have a fantastic weekend. And all the very best to you all in your final projects. Lots of good wishes and good vibes from all of us in the Crowdsource community. I know the Bunkit training has not been easy, a lot of courses for you to complete. It's not for the faint-hearted, and you've all made it here. And I'm going to cheer you all to the finishing line. I think I've met some of you before in the I'm Remarkable workshops that I've led. And I hope to see you all at the finish line and in our community. Feel free to write to us at crowdsource-community@google.com if you wish to reach out to us. And I will also send the influencer interest form to all of you through Febria by email. Have a wonderful rest of the day ahead. Thank you so much, everyone. Terima kasih. Thank you.